I am recording this the morning of exactly a week after I got my Quest 3. Like a lot of you who got on release day, I've had this for about a week, and I think the new tech buzz is starting to wear off a little bit. And I think the more time I spend in the headset, the more I appreciate certain things about it, and the more I find things I don't like. There's more positive than negative here, but that's kind of where we're at. So I guess this is going to serve as my review of the headset. But honestly, I'm going to be doing check-ins on Quest 3. You're getting another one at the end of the first month, another one in about 3 months, 6 months, a year. Because if it's anything like the Quest 2, the remarkable thing about this headset is that Meta continued to update this and add new features to it continually after it came out. Things like AirLink weren't there when the Quest 2 launched in 2020. So I'm expecting Quest 3 to have a night and day difference, a year from now. I don't think there's such thing as a final review for a Quest headset because they're always tinkering and modifying and sometimes breaking stuff. And a lot of times making stuff better. I'm gonna put the specs up on the screen right now so you can see what they are. I'm not gonna dig too deep into them because that information has been out there for a while. I've reported on that in previous videos. The resolution is better. It has pancake lenses. The IPD wheel, which is much better than Quest 2's like 3 settings. That was absolutely terrible. It has a slider to adjust for like distance to or from the lenses. All that stuff's great. This video is gonna be more about my experience in it and the things that I like and things that I don't like. Like the first day in the headset, I'm going to start with comfort. I have already gotten rid. This is the default strap. This thing's terrible. I kind of feel bad for a lot of people who got the first impressions and kind of were putting in their videos that they thought it wasn't as bad, and then they all got their Quest 3 review units and figured out, no, whoa, this is not very good. That sucks because it kind of gave a false sense of hope to a lot of us out there who were getting it on day one. But no, this strap it's not good. It's better than the Quest 2 strap was, but it is still not even close up to snuff for what you need to do to be in this headset for long periods of time. After about 30 minutes, I started to get the headache. I do have a replacement strap on it now. This one came from Zyber. I'm getting another one from another company that I'm not going to name yet because I'm waiting for it to arrive. But as soon as that comes in, you will get an accessories review separately from all this. The facial interface, a lot of people have talked about it. I think this specifically relates to the contour of your face. I have a very, very wide face. You can see all this forehead real estate that's right here. So for me, this isn't as bad. I think for a lot of people, this can, I didn't think the material is too coarse. I do have a VR cover tutorial. Again, that'll be in the accessories video that I've used quite a bit to kind of soften it. But even without the VR cover piece on it, this was more for sweat absorption and for hygiene purposes. I didn't find this too uncomfortable. Having said that, just before I got my Quest 3, I was in the Pico 4, and this interface right here feels like sandpaper on my face. I can't stand it. And it's funny because, by the way, comparison video coming very soon. I don't have a good frame for this, but comparison video coming very soon. I'm not sure if my opinion of this was skewed by the fact that I've been using this one, the Pico 4, for a few weeks before I got Quest 3, so there was like jumping from one to the other. Maybe it stood out more, I'm not sure. But the thing that I noticed was due to like the curvature of the Quest 3's interface here, it really kind of tries to contour to your face a little bit more. And depending on the shape of your face, if you have a wide face, narrow face, whatever, they even make for Quest 2 right now on Meta's website, they have different facial interfaces depending on like for narrow, for wide, for whatever. I have a fairly wide face with a fairly wide nose. This works fine for me. If your face is a little bit narrow, maybe it doesn't hug as tight, I think your experience is going to vary there. And that's why it's kind of hard to do a review specifically on the comfort of it, because everyone's head is shaped differently. And that's different than like a traditional console where really you're just reviewing, for instance, here's an Xbox controller, really just reviewing how the controller feels in your hand versus this thing being on your face. So comfort's really subjective. Having said that, I've tried multiple headsets under $1,000 because I do not want to pay over $1,000 for a headset. So I've tried all 3 Quests, or 4 Quests if you count the Quest Pro, the Reverb G2, the Vive Focus, the Picos 3 and 4. I have never tried a headset under $1,000 that did not have some small comfort piece that I wanted to change immediately. Like I said, for the Pico 4s, like their facial interfaces are not good on the DPVR E4, and that's on my review of that. You can find that elsewhere on the channel. The top strap on that one has 2 little notches to adjust to, but it's not Velcro, so you can't get that fine point adjustment. PSVR 2 and PSVR 1, another examples of that. I did not like the Halo on PSVR 2. It just didn't sit well with me. I thought it was too thin. Just bugged me. I thought PSVR 1 had better comfort fit. So I don't know, maybe it's just a thing in the budget-friendly VR realm where comfort is a thing you have to pay for. Comfort is a premium. Now, having used Pico 4 and Meta Quest 3, I think pancake lenses need to be the standard. I think Fresnel just needs to go away. The edge, everything you get that people talk about, the edge-to-edge clarity, the smooth, the sharpness of it, it just makes it really hard for me to recommend any Fresnel headset. And I just did a review on one of the E4 a couple of weeks ago where I recommended that headset. That's a harder thing to recommend now. Now that I spent an extended amount of time in pancake lenses. I just did a little sample when I tried Quest Pro before I got the Pico 4 a few weeks ago. The microphone. So I'm going to replay some of the footage I did from my first day in Quest 3 where I used the Quest 3 microphone, my lavalier mount mic from Antlion, the Quest 2, the Pico 4, and the E4. So you get a bunch of different mic comparisons. And I'll let you judge for yourself. On a scale of 1 to 5, you guys have heard me use multiple different mics, including a different one just now. This is the Quest 3 mic you're hearing me through. How good is this mic? What's better? Casting's broken for Quest 3. It's just not great. It's not broken. It works. It's just I don't have a strong internet connection here. I'm on a Wi-Fi 5 signal and I'm clear across the house. I'm gonna keep talking for a minute because I just turned it down. But this is what it sounds like with the volume actually turned down. Scale of 1 to 5, 1 being the worst, 5 being the best. How is the Pico 4 mic? To my channel points of the Just Dance stream. Yeah, that's never gonna happen. Never gonna happen. The more I heard this, the more I honestly think I feel like Quest 2 had the better mic, which is mind-boggling to me that they put out a successor and the mic feels worse. It's not bad. I've seen some people call it trash. It's not anywhere close to trash, but the previous generation was better. So in terms of field of view, we talked about this in the one-day video. There are these like spacers that you can use to like shrink and pull the Quest 3 back. If you push it all the way out, like if you're making room for glasses, your FOV is about the same as what the Quest 2 is right now. If you pull it all the way in, so the lenses are closer to your face, the FOV is dramatically better. And then there's the software. We'll start with the mixed reality pass-through. My pass-through experience has been fine, and there were people who said that my pass-through footage looked faked or rigged or doctored because it looked clear to what they saw in the headset. Even when I watched my review back before I posted it, I thought that my pass-through looked better on film, the version that you guys watched, than what I saw on a headset. I'm not sure if that's just the way Quest recording works, because when you're recording, you're just recording direct feed from the cameras, whereas when it's feeding into my headset, it's going through the LCD panels and it's going through the pancake lenses, so maybe that's kind of like creating the grain. I'm not sure. I don't know technically how that works, but it definitely looked better on film than it did in a headset, which I found really interesting. Having said that, I have 5 lights in this room. There are 2 on me right now, and there's 2 light in the green screen directly behind me. And then there's one circular that I usually turn off when I record because it puts a spotlight on my bald head. I have a lot of light in this room is what I'm trying to say. So generally, I think my pass-through experience was better than some people who might not have had a lot of natural light in there, because I don't know if it's the cameras and the way they're exposed, but maybe they just need a lot of light to be really, really effective. And then we get into the games, and this is where I think it's a bit of a letdown. Number 1, shout out to all the developers who've been putting out Quest 3 enhancements for their games. You guys are doing the Lord's work, because you guys are doing more to sell the capability and the power of what this headset can do than I think Meta's doing, honestly. I'm going to give Sony a bit more credit than I would give Meta in this regard. Sony at least came out of the box with Horizon Call of the Mountain, Gran Turismo 7, and Resident Evil Village to showcase what the headset can do. Now, what they've done since then is a different story. I've done multiple videos on that, but at least they came out in the launch window roaring with, here are 3 top tier experiences. They're going to show off what this headset is capable of. And I love they did that, because now sitting here on the Quest 3 end of it, and I've said for a while that I felt bad for PSVR 2 users since launch, because Sony hasn't really brought the first party title since then, but they did a heck of a lot more than Meta did. And that's my biggest letdown with this headset right now. There's only so many of my older games. I own almost 200 Quest games. There's only so many of those I can go back through that have had Quest 3 enhancements and say, okay, cool, that looks better, that looks better, that looks better. But I'm still rehashing experiences I've already had, and I'm looking for new. We're going to talk about mixed reality games in a minute, but as far as like the VR stuff, The game you get for Quest 3 is Asgard's Wrath 2, and that doesn't come out for 2 months. As I record this video, we have Assassin's Creed Nexus coming up here in a few weeks. But again, that was a game that was started when Quest 2 was the main product that they were developing for, and we don't know how early in the process Ubisoft got Quest 3 to start optimizing for that. So when I do my review of that game, I'm going to be really interested, and this is going to go for a lot of games. I'm going to be playing them on Quest 2 and Quest 3 to see what the differences are and how much you could tell the developers put into optimizing Quest 3 specifically. And there's a lot of this is coming soon, this is coming soon, this is coming soon, but it's not ready now. So for those of us who bought their headsets early, I don't know about you guys, but I'm already personally kind of running out of stuff that I wanted to try with this in terms of VR. Mixed reality is a different case. And I'm trying to be patient, but I just watched a bunch of Sony fans who bought PSVR 2s go through this exact same process back in February. It's October as I record this, and they've been waiting 8 months for Sony to bring something outside of those first 3 games. And I feel like we're going through the same thing with Quest 3, where developers, again, God bless them, they're doing great work and they're regenerating interest in their older games. That's fantastic to see, but we still want new stuff. We still want new games to play that are optimized for this headset that I personally spent $700 on the headset alone with tax. That's before any add-ons that I may have done to this. Let's move to mixed reality, and this is Quest 3's big selling point, is the full color pass-through. There are games that added mixed reality, but it's the exact same campaign, just playable in your space. And then there are developers who created entire modes around mixed reality, like Drop Dead the Cabin. Their mixed reality mode comes out about a week after I record this video. I've already played it. It's a lot of fun. It's taking the same core mechanics of the VR mode of the game and putting you in AR, and it gives you a whole new sensation. When you see monsters burst into your walls, knocking holes to your walls to get to you, that ratchets up the tension in a way that I think the base VR version of that game doesn't. That game is not scary at all. It's more of an action game, something I feel like I play in an entertainment center. In mixed reality, it's a whole different vibe. And then there are the games that are built specifically for mixed reality. My company, 3 Pound Games, is making a game called Rocket that's available now on App Lab that was built to be played in mixed reality. It's a social party app built specifically for people who either don't have a whole lot of time to spend in VR because it's built as like quick term mini games, very similar to WarioWare, or for people who are new to VR and kind of need that onboarding piece. It's a great onboarding tool. So, you know, you got your 3 categories. MR mode, no changes. MR mode, completely different from the regular game, and built for mixed reality and really meant to be played in mixed reality. And Meta's saying they're going to put a lot more games out there. Like Asgard's Wrath 2 has mixed reality built into it. Stranger Things has mixed reality built into it. We don't know what kind of category those 2 are going to fall under. I'm excited to see what all 3 of those categories evolve into. I think eventually the first version of that, the games that just, hey, you could take away the background and play the exact same game, I think eventually those are going to go away, because that's where I think a lot of like the VR, like the immersion enthusiasts kind of have a point of, I don't want to see my dirty room. I want to see, you know, the big immersive worlds. But I think the last 2 categories, I think games that have completely different like game modes built for mixed reality, or games that are built entirely in mixed reality. I'm really looking forward to trying out the Lego Brick Tales game, for example. I think those games are going to be the ones that really push this forward and show what this is capable of, and help developers lean more in that direction than in the first category. I put out a lot of like wishful thinking videos hoping that Quest 3 was going to have a massive launch lineup to really take advantage of the headset. But the reality is a lot of developers didn't get their Quest 3s to start working specifically on developing for this headset until a few months ago. And it takes longer to build bigger games like that. It takes a year, 2 years, 3 years to build a true AAA title, or something that's going to push the limits of what this is, because that's a lot of optimization work. So would I recommend Quest 3 right now? It really depends. If you are someone who spends a lot of hours in your headset every week, this is absolutely worth the upgrade. I'm not going to qualify it. Go out and buy this headset. It's worth it. If you are a PC VR fan, I would recommend the 128GB version. Do not spend the extra $150 for the 512, because honestly, you're not going to need that level of overhead unless you plan on playing any standalones. But if you are purely a PC VR fan, get the 128 for $500, save that $150 and spend it on some third-party changeouts. Get a new facial interface if you find that is not to your liking. Absolutely get a new strap, but I would recommend trying it out of the box first before you replace anything, because you may find that the facial interface is fine, like I did. But I know a lot of people who can't stand this. I've had people even say that the default strap is okay. I think those people are insane, but to each their own. That's their own opinion. That's fine. If you are someone who only uses your Quest 2 once a week or so, I think you're going to be fine just sticking with Quest 2. Pretty much every game that comes out the next year or so will be playable on Quest 2. Some of them will be better in Quest 3, especially the mixed reality stuff. That's kind of where I sit with it. I know this was kind of all over the place. I really just wanted to turn the camera on and just start talking about how I feel about this after a week. And that's really where it comes down to. It's a fantastic headset. It's a great headset. I'm glad I own one. But it needs software to drive it, because right now the best software on it already exists on Quest 2. It just looks better. How much better depends on how much time the devs put into making it look better. Some of it's just better just because of the pancake lenses and the resolution. Some of it's better because the devs went back and added to the game to bring it closer to what we're getting on PC VR. This is not the PC VR equivalent, but this is getting you closer to that for the people who cannot afford a PC that costs well over $1,000. If you got your Quest 3 on release day, you've had yours just as long as I have, so I'd love to get your thoughts down in the comments. How do you feel about it? Are you happy with it? Has some of like the wow factor worn off the more you use it and you kind of see some of the warts for it? Again, I still love this headset, but I desperately want some top tier stuff to play on it, and I think we get that in 6 months to a year, which is a bit of a letdown. If you want to check out what I thought about Quest 3 on day one, click the video on the screen right now, and as always, thank you for watching.